Welcome to a brand new episode of Motorheads. I have someone very special with me today. It's someone I'm also very keen to catch up with, and it's been a while since we've had him with us on the NDTV network too. It's Rajesh Jejurikar, who's an old hand at Mahindra, and of course is someone that is very familiar to us as well as to you. Good to see you, Rajesh.
Hi, sir. Nice to meet you.
Thanks for giving us the time today and being on the show with us. It's a slightly different hat, let's say, that you wear now at Mahindra than the previous times when we used to chase you for interviews. So it's been a while now that you've come back to Mahindra and you've sort of settled into this role. Talk us through that. Talk us through that settling down period.
So I've been, handling my current role now for a little over 2 years, though it seems much longer. And my current portfolio.
To me, it seems shorter actually.
Yeah.
I can't realize it's been 2 years already.
It's. But for me, who's part of it every day, it's like 365 days into 2, and so it's a long, many days of work. And I handle the tractors business and the two-wheelers business. And both of these bring, very different perspectives and new insights, need a very different approach. And both have been immensely different learnings and have brought in very new dimensions to me as a business leader, and have been able to build on what I had experienced in my automotive days and add a completely different perspective. So, I'm really enjoying what I'm doing because learning so much new every day.
And seemingly there aren't synergies between these two areas, right? So, I mean, from a business point of view, there could be, but obviously not from a product point of view. So, they are really two different animals in that sense.
Yeah, so they need a different approach. Clearly, two-wheelers is closer to automotive than tractors is. Having said that, there's some elements of both the verticals which have a commonality of, let's say, approach or process. The solutions are very different, but a lot of, once you're in the automotive industry, a lot of the ground principles don't change. The way you capture insights from consumers, the way you understand distribution, the way you look at pricing, the decisions and approach may vary, but I think the process is the same.
Given the strength of the Mahindra brand and also the position in the market, I guess it becomes that much easier to work with these suppliers in a certain sense. But the last few years in particular on farm equipment, we have seen a greater focus on not just strengthening the Indian operations, but also looking outside of India. I know it's been a conscious effort, and you had the US, then there was China, of course, which has been a big thrust area. And you've also looked at technology partnerships, etc. Recently, there was, of course, news coming from Japan as well. How much of that has been, let's say, the new approach towards where this business is going ever since you've come in, as compared to what was happening earlier when, let's say, there was a greater impetus on making sure that you were consolidating market share locally?
I think both the examples that you gave, both US and China, are things of the past. So while we would want to strengthen it and increase the pace of our momentum there, they're not recent initiatives. They've been there for a while. We've invested for a while, and both of these markets we have a good position and a good standing. In US, in the less than 80 horsepower segment, we are actually the number 3 player, which is a good position to be in. We see, for example, the Mitsubishi Agri-Machinery Strategic Alliance as a very significant way for us to strengthen the momentum that we would have in globalization. We see it as more than a technology tie-up. It will, of course, help us get new technologies, but there are things we can do together. It gives us access to the Japanese market, which we would have never done. Southeast Asian markets, which we may not have looked at so strongly in the past. So there are many new things that we can do to globalize using Mitsubishi Agri-Machinery. So clearly that's a very important building block for us in our globalization journey.
There's been a lot of talk about how difficult it has been for Mahindra to sort of break into the big game when it comes to two-wheelers, even here in India. And never mind the fact that you also have global ambitions and you want to get into other markets. But while on the one hand it's very easy to forget that all of this takes time, it takes time to establish and build something like this. You keep getting criticism saying, you're so well established on the utility vehicle side, why do you need to do this? Have you figured out like a really good answer for that question now? In these 2 years?
Yeah, I see a very strong strategic rationale for why Mahindra should attempt and get successful in the two-wheeler segment. So I'm going to give you 2 or 3 points out of my personal reasoning why, and I think we use that a lot now in all our internal communication and so on. So one is penetration of brand, right? So we're a very successful tractor company. We reach about, let's say, 18-20,000 households a month. I mean, that's roughly the range of what we would sell across our 2 brands, Mahindra and Swaraj. Even if we do badly in two-wheelers, we'll reach more households than that, right? So the ability to penetrate the brand and literally become a mass brand player, nothing will offer us as much ease of doing that as being in two-wheelers. So one really is penetration of brand. Secondly, when you hence penetrate the brand to that extent, it creates households who can become tractor households, who can become commercial vehicle households, who can become SUV households. So you create a connect with consumers, which can allow that consumer to move up the rest of your portfolio. So it's a great entry point into a household. Thirdly, the two-wheeler brand and consumer is typically younger. So you make your brand younger, right? And fourthly, when you look at globalization, the ability to globalize in two-wheelers is far easier than in any other category. 2 reasons for that. One is brand India in two-wheelers has been fairly well established thanks to some of our competitors. So the made in India is actually a pretty good tag to have in the two-wheeler segment. And the number of players or competitors there in the mass market are significantly lesser, right? So if you want to think about globalizing brand Mahindra, again, two-wheelers is a great way to do it. So there are 4 very compelling strategic reasons. Having said that, of course, it's competitive. It's tremendous intensity of competition. And I think we right now have a strategy which we think will get us the momentum that we would like. And I don't know if you got a chance to see our new commercials, but I could talk a little bit if you like about the thought process and the strategy behind those.
In fact, we're going to give our viewers a glimpse of that as well, and of course I want to know more about the strategy from you. We'll take a very short break here, and what I haven't told you so far is where we've been sitting and having this conversation. We're just outside of Pune at Mahindra Two-Wheelers R&D facility. So we're not going to just stay inside this room. Join us after a short break to find out what I'm going to show you next.